There's one skill that changed everything for me, from my income to my identity, and it wasn't degree, it was languages. People think speaking several languages makes you impressive. I don't think that's true. Languages don't make you impressive, they make your life bigger. They give you access, mobility, confidence, and opportunities in ways a diploma never will. I didn't grow up multilingual in a fancy international family. I grew up with Russian, Uzbek, and a bit of Farsi around me, not because I was special, but because that was simply my environment. But the languages that actually transformed my life were English and French. I built them myself. Today, I want to show you why learning languages is the best investment I've ever made, financially, professionally, emotionally, and socially, and why it can change your life too. And I promise by the end of this video, you'll never look at the languages the same way again. Let's start with the truth. I didn't decide to speak 6 languages. I simply grew up in a multilingual environment. Russian at home, Uzbek in the streets, Farsi from family roots. It wasn't some rare gift, it was just my reality. Turkish came naturally later because of how close it is with Uzbek. I understand it, I can speak it, but I don't pretend it's on the level of the languages I actually studied. But English and French, those I built from scratch. Those demanded discipline, embarrassment, consistency, and time. And those are the languages that changed everything for me. How many languages did you grow up with, and how many did you learn intentionally? Let's be honest, a degree tells people what you studied, a language tells people who can you reach. A degree prepares for a job, a language prepares for the world. A degree is one door, a language is 20. A degree expires, language only expand. And here's something very few people realize. You can replace a degree, but you cannot replace the perspective you gain from speaking another language. Multilingual people, they think more flexibly, understand every detail, adapt faster, navigate cultures easier, learn quicker, communicate on multiple levels, and naturally receive more opportunities. Language don't just add knowledge, they add dimensions to your reality. My career didn't grow because I had contacts or rich parents or some institutional support. It grew because I had languages. When I was 18, I was living in Moscow. English was my survival tool. Teaching English gave me my first real income, my rent, my food, my stability. Later, when I moved to France, English helped me to get my first job. French helped me integrate, communicate, and finally build a stable life. Companies didn't choose me because I was the smartest person in the room. They chose me because I could operate across different cultures, markets, and languages. Multilingual equals flexible, flexible equals employable, employable equals stable. Languages changed my career more than any diploma ever could. Let's talk money honestly. Companies love multilingual employees because they solve multiple problems at once. You can speak to international clients, read documents in another language, write emails in English or French, switch between markets, understand cultural differences, take calls across regions, translate things very quickly. And this is not nice to have. This is a financial asset. You don't need to switch careers. You don't need a tech degree. You don't need an MBA. Sometimes one new language pushes you into completely different salary bracket. Has a language ever helped you get a job or earn more money? One of the most beautiful parts of speaking several languages is that you don't just translate words, you translate yourself. Different languages unlock different versions of you. In Russian, for example, I'm very direct. In English, I'm kind of expressive and lighter. In French, I'm much more diplomatic. In Uzbek, I'm kind of warm and grounded. And these aren't masks. These are real emotional models. Languages gave me more ways to exist, more ways to understand myself, more ways to connect with the world. That's why multilingual people adapt so quickly. Their brain already knows how to switch perspectives. People think languages are academic, grammar rules, exams, textbooks, but languages aren't academic, they are behavioral. You learn them the way you learn everything human, by doing it, failing in it, repeating it, and adjusting. You don't study a language like a subject, you live it, you interact with it, you form emotional connections to it. Fluency isn't perfect grammar, fluency is confidence. Before I continue, I'm planning to make a full separate video about how to learn any language from scratch, based entirely on what worked for me personally. But here's the short, honest version, not theory, not school-style advice, the real way languages are learned. You don't need to move to Paris to learn French. You just need to turn your environment French. When I learned English, I filled my life with it. YouTube, movies, subtitles, songs, TikTok clips, everything. Your brain cannot ignore a language it sees every day. Immersion isn't geography, it's consistency. You cannot learn a language in silence. Your mouth needs training, your tongue needs training. Your brain needs this shock of real conversation. The first 20 to 50 conversations will feel horrible. You will freeze, forget words, panic, laugh, all of it. But that's the barrier, and once you pass it, your brain switches modes from translate to think. Fluency begins as broken sentences, and broken sentences are beautiful because they're proof that you're trying. People quit languages because they spent months learning things they will never understand in real life. Learn to say, I work in digital marketing, I moved to France 3 years ago, I'm trying to improve my speaking, I love to invest, I love traveling. When the language describes your reality, you learn 10 times faster. This technique changed my pronunciation than everything else. Shadowing is simple. You listen to a native speaker, you repeat everything instantly, copying their rhythm, tone, poses, and musicality, not translating, just mimicking. It makes your speech very natural, even when your vocabulary is limited. You start with 10 minutes a day, then 1 month, and then you sound like a different person. This is what I meant earlier. Learn French is not a goal, it's a dream. A real goal is measurable. For example, understand one YouTube video without subtitles. Learn the 30 most common verbs. Have 2 minutes conversation. Write a message without translator. Order something at a cafe confidently. Small wins keep motivation alive because you can progress, and big, vague goals kill motivation. Small goals build fluency. Don't treat the languages like your homework. Treat them like a lifestyle. Change your phone language. Follow creators who speak the language, comment on the videos, watch one short a day, write notes, think in the language when you are walking. Fluency doesn't come from intensity, it comes from frequency. You can tell me in the comments what part of learning a language do you struggle with the most. Most investments come with the risk. Stocks go up and down, crypto rises and collapses, real estate changes, but languages, they will never lose value. They don't expire, they don't disappear, they compound. Every language you learn becomes a permanent upgrade in your mind, your opportunities, your relationships, and your identity. If you're thinking about learning a new language, just start. Not for a certificate, not for a job title, but because it expands who you are. Languages gave me freedom, options, confidence, and parts of myself I never knew existed. And they can do the same for you. Let me know in the comments what languages do you speak and which one do you want to learn next. Thank you so much for watching.